We're just a minute away from beginning here, so wait one more minute. While we wait, I'll welcome everybody watching on Facebook and remind people that these meetings, the videos are stored on Facebook, archived on Facebook, as well as YouTube. So if you want to watch at a later date, they're there available to you. And we're waiting just a few more seconds for the official start time. I want to especially thank Brent Jacobs, who's been MVP over the last 14 months, helping us with the technology that enabled our community to keep monitoring fiscal court activities as it should be. And thankful for him. Good job. All right, 9:30. I'll call the meeting to order. Again, welcome everybody. We'll start as we always do with an invocation, and please stand. Heavenly Father, please look over this body and make deliberations. Please watch over our first responders and healthcare professionals. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Masher Southern.
Here.
Masher Berry.
Here.
Masher Moran.
Here.
Masher Putman.
Here
Masher McCollum
is here.
is here.
All right. You have before you the minutes of the May 25th, 2021 fiscal court meeting. After a period of review, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
Second.
A motion and a second. Mr. McCollum, if you hit the button on your mic there.
So moved.
Any corrections, clarifications, additions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have with us Davis Hunter, and he is helping represent the airport today. Alan Bennett, airport director, is with us as well, and they have a request of us. And Chris Hobgood has designated Davis to talk to us today about it.
Good morning.
Good morning. He's got taller.
I'd rather go this way than that way. Okay, so I'm here on behalf of the airport board to discuss purchasing property near the airport related to the runway expansion. The property is a small lot with a house. It's at the intersection of Highway 136 and Old Cordon Geneva Road in Geneva. It belongs to Amy Mattingly, who wants to sell it for $112,500. That's the appraised value. If acquired, this property would provide important access to the expanded runway as well as other commercial developments in the area. As you all know, the Federal Aviation Administration provides grants each year for airport improvement, which require a local match of 2.5% from the city and 2.5% from the county, as well as the airport. So for example, if the FAA gave a grant of $100,000, the city would contribute $2,500 as well as the county. Now, if the city and the county contribute to buying Ms. Mattingly's property, which is what we're asking, they would receive a credit for 90% of their contribution. Then the next time the FAA gives a grant and it comes time for the city and the county to make their local match, they can use that credit instead of writing a new check. We've done this with similar situated property in the past, and it's worked well. With the runway expansion, ongoing maintenance, et cetera, we expect several $1 million in FAA grants. So the upcoming local matches required from the city and county are going to be significant. The airport board, with regard to Miss Mangley's property, the airport board is able to account for $52,500 of that purchase price and is asking the city and the county to each contribute $30,000. The pending litigation involving the Williams family has slowed progress on the runway expansion this year. And therefore, the city and the county, as my understanding, have not had to make this year's local match, which is budgeted for. If the city and the county contribute to the purchase price of Miss Mangley's property by the end of the fiscal year, the end of this month, that 90% credit that you all receive will offset upcoming local matches, which we know are coming and will be significant. 90% of the purchase price is $101,250. So that's $101,250 less that the city, the county, and the airport has to contribute in local upcoming local matches. The city's already agreed to contribute their $30,000. This is a win-win for the airport and the city and the county. The airport gets property that's valuable to its runway expansion. And as I've said, the city and the county receive a credit for upcoming local matches that they're going to have to pay soon anyway. So that's why I'm here. And I ask that you grant our request with in mind the fiscal year ending at the end of the month.
Couple bit of background notes. If you recall, we were given an estimate for the whole project that our match would amount to at most $350,000. Right? That was the kind of top line estimate, and we asked to have $350,000 in coal severance funds set aside for this purpose. And so we have that in our pocket to use for this project overall as we want. This 30,000 would go towards that match. So one way or the other, we're going to have to come up with match money.
Correct.
So anything you want to add to the value of the property? I have a question though about, there's a house on it, the cost of the demolition, who takes care of that? So because you're not speaking in the mic, I'm going to repeat. The airport will take care of the demolition of the house on the property. Okay.
Thank you.
I got it. We got it. Any questions? Any questions on this? I like I said, we have 350,000 set back in coal severance. We're probably gonna have to spend one way or the other. I will say that whatever our county road department can do to help in the ultimate construction of the project can also be used as in-kind match. So that may reduce the amount of that 350,000 we actually have to utilize, but we're not there yet, and it's going to take a while. So,
Will this 30,000 come out of the coal severance money?
it can, whatever we decide, or we can write a check right now. We can afford it in this year's budget. That'll just be $30,000 less that we have to spend on this with our coal severance. We'll just save that money.
That's right.
Yeah. Either or, doesn't matter to me.
Tim, have you looked at this, and what is your thoughts? Because it is in your district.
I know the property well. I think it would be an asset to the airport. I think we've already put the money up as far, that's why we asked for the coal severance, so we could pull from that, right?
Correct.
So I think it kind of like you said, it's kind of a win-win. It gets us in good with the FAA, and I think we're good to go.
Is that a motion?
I moved to.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to commit these funds. Any other questions about that? Any discussion?
Let me get clear. Are we just going to pay 30,000 or are you going to take it out of the?
I'm
I'm
going to ask that next.
Okay.
When we vote to commit the money, and then we'll figure out where it comes from next. So without any further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 2 ayes from Keith and Magistrate Southard. Is that right?
Yes.
So if you if you would like to have if you have a preference right now about where that money comes from, I'd be glad to hear it. We can afford it to just write a check out of our current budget if you want to, or we can apply and get the coal severance money in it. Takes a little longer, but this project is not imminent within the next couple of weeks, is it? Or when would you like to purchase the property?
Well, it's my understanding that Miss Mattingly is ready to go. And, you know, the purchase price has been agreed upon. So unless Alan knows to the contrary, once the commitment's been made by the city and the county, we're going to move forward.
Treasurer Ryder, if you don't mind, if we request coal severance from the state, we will then have to amend it into our budget. And that'll take 2 readings. And then pay it out of, transfer it and then pay it out of our probably city county airport contribution. So it will take some time.
So you're wanting to get this done before the end of this fiscal year?
Correct.
Why don't we just go ahead and pay it out of
Yeah,
We can easily do that.
yeah, I think that was a motion using Charlie's.
If
I'll
we-
second it. I'll second it.
Okay, and we will work within the budget to create the transfers necessary to do that, and we'll have it ready for next meeting. We'll put it on the claims for next meeting. Is that okay? Is that all right? We'll cut you a
Well,
check after the second meeting. in June.
And pay ourselves back with that.
I'm sorry, Tim.
I don't think we can do that, Tim. I think once it's spent, then I don't think they'll reimburse us out of the coal severance money. I don't think.
Okay. So will we be able to use this coal severance money for other things other than the airport?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just consulted. We can get that reimbursed to us out of the coal severance if
Can
we
we?
want,
Okay.
if we want to do that.
Well, we still got the road out there in Tim's, everything's at Tim's district. For the.
Not us.
That's for the future.
Right, but you could use coal severance money on that
Yes.
too. So that
Yes.
we got places to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got approximately $1.45 million in that account for us. Now, 350 of it has been set aside for this. Leaves us a lot more to do stuff with. So we will go ahead as I'm understanding the motion in the second to pay it out of current budget, and maybe I can get with the finance committee to decide whether we want to go ahead and go through the process of getting a refund or whether we would just want to save that 30,000 in the coal severance account and use it for something else. It'll be up to us, but I can bring it back to court next meeting if you'd like.
Not that 30,000 isn't a lot of money, but that's it's work to get it. It's not going to go anywhere. We can use it for something else. I would think we just go ahead and,
Yeah.
But I'm okay with whatever you all want to do.
If we can agree on that now, that's fine. It'd be one less thing to worry about, but just pay it out of current budget and be done with it.
yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay. So I have a motion. Would you make a motion to that effect, please?
I move that we go on and pay the 30,000 for the property purchase out of this year's budget.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion, questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Onward and upward.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate what you do.
Next, we have Blake Edge from Green River Area Development District who going to give us a quick update on the mitigation plan that they do every year. Update every year,
Every 5 years.
every 5 years. I'm sorry. And this is a FEMA requirement. And Blake, I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, so this is for the adoption of our 2021 hazard mitigation plan. As Judge said, it is every 5 years that it is updated. This is the 4th one that we have done. And what it does, it makes Henderson County eligible for hazard mitigation grants, of which one is currently open, replacing a storm siren. What this is, it's the plan has been constructed the last 2 years. It is now under, it's been under Kentucky Emergency Management Review. They have approved it and submitted it to FEMA for their review. So every county and city in our jurisdiction must adopt it as their own. What will happen, the plan is currently available on our website. It's about 800 pages. Once FEMA finally reviews it and approves, then we will make hard copies available if anybody wants one, but we will also share it with you digitally as well.
Grad had a committee to help review this and update it, correct? Yeah.
They did. We have a hazard mitigation council. It's just a standing council. We meet twice a year. And then we had the whole from July of 2019 until August of last year, we had community meetings, a couple in every city and county to gather input and talk about projects, infrastructure, what was needed from FEMA. So it's been a very comprehensive process.
Any questions of Blake on this? Keith, Tim, any questions?
No,
I don't have any questions of Blake. We appreciate the work. 800 pages is a lot of work, I know. I'll have the clerk read the resolution.
Resolution for adoption of the 2021 Green River Area Development District Hazard Mitigation Plan update. Whereas certain areas of Henderson County, Kentucky are subject to periodic flooding, tornadoes, severe winter storms, severe thunderstorms, landslides, and other natural hazards that have potential to cause damages to people and properties within the area. And whereas Henderson County desires to prepare and mitigate for such natural hazards. And whereas under the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000, the United States Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, requires that local jurisdictions have in place a FEMA-approved hazard mitigation plan as a condition of receipt of certain future federal mitigation funds after November 1st, 2004. And whereas under the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000, FEMA stipulates that all local hazard mitigation plans must be updated and FEMA approved every 5 years to maintain the eligibility of local jurisdictions for certain federal mitigation funding. And whereas to assist cities and counties in meeting this requirement, the Green River Area Development District facilitated the development of a multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan and the 5-year updates covering member jurisdictions of the Green River Area Development District, including Henderson County. And whereas the Green River Area Development District Hazard Mitigation Plan update was developed in accordance with the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000 regulations and FEMA guidance. Now therefore be it resolved that the Henderson County Fiscal Court hereby, 1, adopts the 2021 Green River Area Development District Hazard Mitigation Plan update as the official hazard mitigation plan of Henderson County, Kentucky, and 2, authorizes, if necessary, the Green River Area Development District Hazard Mitigation Council and local emergency management officials to review the hazard mitigation plan. Furthermore, any necessary amendments to portions of the plan pertaining to Henderson County should be developed and presented to the Henderson County Fiscal Court for consideration prior to inclusion in this plan.
Need a motion to approve.
I'll move. Second.
We have a motion by Master Moran, second by Master Barry, I believe. Any other questions of Blake? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Blake.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, we have a couple appointments for the court to vote on. First is fulfilling a seat on the Henderson County Public Library Board of Trustees after the term of Joan Hoffman has ended. We certainly appreciate her service. And we were given 2 names through the Department of Libraries and Archives to consider. These were generated by current members of the Board of Trustees as suggestions. You see the 2 in front of you, Norris Priest and Glenda Dixon. I would recommend that we appoint Glenda Dixon. She is a former director of the youth services programs at the library, very knowledgeable about the library. Both are outstanding people and would make good board members, but I'd like to offer Glenda Dixon as our appointment.
And she retired from the library, did she not?
She did.
I'd make a motion to
Sure.
approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Glenda Dixon to the Library Board of Trustees. Questions, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. And then second, County Board of Zoning Adjustments, Herb Pritchett. His term is ending, but he's eligible to serve another term. I asked him if he would serve. He's been a very good member of BOZA, local appraiser, has done a good job according to the chairman, Dickie Johnson, and I would move that we reappoint Herb Pritchett.
Second.
I think we need a motion.
I thought you said you moved.
Sorry.
I thought you were
I
making.
thought
Oh, sorry.
you said
Sorry.
it.
I'll make a
I
motion then.
request. Sorry.
Second.
Second, okay, we have a motion and a second. I apologize. Any other questions about that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Couple housekeeping bits here. We have to go to public hearings for LGEA and county road aid. Treasurer Ryder, if you want to come on up. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I'll just wait till you open it.
Okay, so I need a motion to go into public hearing.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, now we're now in public hearing. Treasurer Ryder.
This is a public hearing for the LGEA Local Government Economic Assistance Funds for the fiscal year 22. Henderson County anticipates the receipt of approximately $735,300. These funds will be used for general health, sanitation, public safety, social services, and recreation. The majority of this revenue consists of approximately $100,000 from waste hauling franchise receipts, approximately $120,000 from mineral severance tax, and approximately $494,300, which is a fund transfer from the general fund to the LGEA fund. The appropriations for these, while this is not inclusive, includes volunteer fire departments, 911 communication center, landfill, humane society, senior citizens programs, Boys and Girls Club, shelter for women and children, the Henderson Music Preservation, WC Handy, and busing parochial students.
So this is basically reaffirming that everything we've already voted on once for our LGEA fund next fiscal year is what we want to do. And we also take public input on that just to see if anybody has any objection or a different idea. So we are now in public hearing, and I have to ask 3 times if anybody has a public comment, so bear with me. I'll ask anybody who'd like to come forward, make public comment about our use of LGEA funds, please do now. I'll ask a second time. Would anybody like to come up and make a comment? Going once, going twice, third time, anybody like to make a comment? Hearing none, we will go out of public hearing. Yeah. Can I get a motion to go out of public hearing?
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I don't think we take a vote at this point, or do we vote to accept?
I thought we already
LG.
voted to accept it in the budget.
Yeah. So we're only looking for public comment. Yeah. We can go into, let me ask for a vote to go into public hearing about county road aid, please.
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
This is the public hearing for the use of the county road aid funds for the fiscal year 22. Henderson County anticipates the receipt of county road aid funds to be approximately $1,339,118. These funds are primarily funded by state motor fuel tax and should be used for the construction, reconstruction, and maintenance of county roads. Distribution of the fuels tax is based on population, road mileage, and land area of each county. The distribution of these funds, 60% of this is to be expected to be received approximately August of 2021, 30 to 35% to be received January of 2022, and the remaining to be received July of 2022.
And Bill Hubiak, our county engineer, has already factored in use of this money in various line items that impact county roads, correct? Yeah. So with that, I'll ask any member of the public who'd like to come up and make comment about our use of county road aid, please come forward. Asking a second time, would anybody like to make a public comment?
Bill, can you make some statements about this? Can you swear him in?
Yes. William A. Hubiak, Henderson County Engineer.
Henderson.
He did.
Yeah.
Bill, yeah, do we need these monies?
Yes, sir, we sure do.
And do we have it set up in a way to be used in accordance with what the requirements of the Commonwealth of Kentucky are?
That is correct. We have been utilizing the County Road Aid Fund for the last 23 years since I've been county engineer. We've been doing it properly and in accordance to the KRS regulations, and it's totally used on the county roads in accordance to their rules. We would like to have more, but we have is what we have, and we've utilized it to the best of our ability.
We really have a larger need than what we have money for.
That is correct, but as you well know, you've been in this arena longer than I have, and we've been dealing with the gas tax, and now we're going towards electric vehicles and the decline and different things, and setting the bar and the limits of where it's been. The whole state could use more money, but it is where it's at, and we try to get our biggest bang for the buck. That's all I can tell you.
Thank you, Bill.
I'll ask a third time for any public comment. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to go out of public hearing.
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Thank you. Now let me bring Mr. Hubiak back up. We have a couple bid openings. Bill, you want to lead us through that?
This bid opening is for the mechanic's truck service body. We have already received the chassis. That was bought with the court's permission off of the state contract pricing. There was no state contract pricing for a service mechanic's bid, and the price exceeded the $30,000 limit, so we had to go out for bid on this. This item will be purchased in next year's budget, so everybody knows. So we have a bid from Myers Truck Equipment of Morgan Avenue over in Evansville, Indiana.
Why don't you just go ahead and read us the amount, Bill?
Okay, it's for a Napa Hide KMT 1-11 service body mounted on the customer's supplied 2021 Ford F550 four-wheel drive regular cab with a 369-inch wheelbase, with a 6.7-liter diesel engine with an 18,800 gross vehicle weight. The bid price is $66,128. This is, you have to remember, and I'm sure Charlie, you did, but it's been 21 years ago when we first purchased a mechanic's truck that was capable of handling our equipment. Prior to that, we had a F-250 with just a service bed on it and a homemade crane that used a boat winch by hand. The air compressor was run by a small gas generator that was a mobile one that was in the back of the truck. So, I mean, getting 20 years of life out of a good service truck is really good. This is a step up, so it'll hopefully last even longer. And our older truck is not going to be sold off. It's going to be repurposed to one of our individuals in the mechanic and fabrication group. He's currently driving a Parks van that was handed down from the jail. So we're still going to keep the old truck and that. With that, I would like the court to, since we only have the one bid, to approve the purchase of this so that we can get our truck over there and they can start getting this ordered and mounted on it so we can have it. They said it'd be a 6 to 8 week period on the fabrication and delivery. So that's my recommendation of the court.
Get a motion to that effect?
Yeah.
That we accept the bid.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions of Bill on that?
Bill, is this just a bed or are they putting like air compressors and different, is it equipped?
This is the whole 9 yards. It comes with the outriggers. It comes with the service body with the tool chest in it. It comes with the oxygen, acetylene compartment. It comes with the welder on it, and it comes with the crane unit on the whole bed. It's a whole package deal of what everything is. And, you know, the crane is a 3,800 foot-pound capacity. I mean, the whole thing is, we went and looked at them before we even decide to what we had there. It has a backup camera, LED light system on it for if we got to be out after dark with it or anything like when we send our grade all out at night for trees down. We have the capabilities to do everything with this unit that we'll need. Like I said, the last one lasted, I believe it's 21 years, and we're still going to use it. But a lot of the components on that one have failed, like the crane. The crane is wore out on the other one, and this is the reason we needed to go to the new one. So.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Thank you.
One more bid opening, yeah, or a bid request, I'm sorry.
Yes, we'd like to go out for bid on the FEMA funded repair on Spotsville Bluff City Road, where we have a slide along Grace Creek out there. It has failed, dropped down another 1.5 feet after this last flooding we've had. We've only band-aided it until we got to the point where we think we need to get it fixed permanently now. We have a way of utilizing railroad rail and cribbing that's made out of used guardrail. We have done this before on Tillman Bethel Road in the past, and it has been successful. I think that was done probably about 15 years ago, and it's not had any problem at all. We've not had any more slippage. So it is a proven method of repair. It's something that's beyond the capability of the Henderson County Road Department, and it's going to cost over $30,000 to do this. I estimate this project's going to be somewhere between $85,000 to $100,000 on this estimate. So it's not a cheap repair, but it's something they'll have to drive the rail and then bolt and weld the guardrail to it. And they're going to be having to drive it down 40 feet to stabilize the embankment. So something that we can't do physically, so it has to go out for bid. FEMA has already approved the recommended fix for it on how we're going to do it. So this is something we'll be refunded at 80, about 83%. So.
Bill, is this better than the sheets that interlock that you drive down?
It's cheaper.
Yes.
It's cheaper and it's proven, Charlie. The sheet piling right now, the price of metal is up again, and we have looked at that, and the type of sheet piling that's required to actually do it is very expensive. This was something we spoke with FEMA, and their inspectors were down here. Of course, they can't actually tell you what you should do, but they've seen a lot more kind of damages than I have. And so, I try to ask them for a little bit of guidance. Of course, they can't specifically tell you exactly what you need to do, but they can kind of guide you a little bit. So.
I'd make a motion that we go ahead and allow it to go out for bids then.
Hey, Bill,
Yes.
one question. Do you have any kind of time frame as far as when that might be complete? I've had a lot of questions about it, and that's why I'm asking. You may not know.
Well, Keith, we just were out there, Magistrate Barry, we were out there yesterday and did a fix repair on that again. I'm hoping to go out for the bid here and open the bid sometime in July, and we'll be in our new fiscal year budget, and we can award the bid at that point. And this is something that will be reimbursable, the majority of it by FEMA. So It won't come directly and we won't have to pay for 100% of this project, but
Right.
it needs to be done this summer while the chances of flooding are minimal compared to what they are right now. So
Right, yeah, that's a bad place out there. I've had a lot of questions on that. Okay, thank
So we have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thanks, and Godspeed with that one. Absolutely.
What about the flex funds?
That's next. I asked the three rural magistrates, quote unquote, Beth and Keith and Tim, to offer their ideas on how to spend the approximately 133,000 and change that we held back from KYTC monies to determine projects in their districts that they'd like to get done. And they consulted with Bill Hubiak, and you see in your packets the three suggested projects. And Bill, you endorsed all these choices, yes? Bill? Anything you want to add about the choice of flex fund money here, the three projects?
Yes, I consulted with all three magistrates in the three districts that we chose to utilize the funding for. Each of them also, upon recommendation by myself and the road supervisor, have agreed that where we stop off with the 1 mile of flex fund money from the state, that they will continue on that road to complete it out as far as resurfacing to where it needs to go to, so that we get one whole length and the road will be completed. Ms. Moran has picked out Walter Road, where we had done part of it one end here 2 years ago and part of it one end in the middle. And her 1 mile will get her almost complete, and we'll have to do another 3/10 of a mile to tie it all in, but then that road will be completely done. And we have the same thing on Crooked Road with Magistrate Berry. And then we have some a little over a mile that needs to be done down on McDonald Landing in District number 3. So this will help us complete these roads where we have some severe challenges on them, and it will be more efficiently utilized. We're going to get 3 miles of road, and ours is a little cheaper due to the fact that our roads are not as wide as the state's road 416, but they were going to do 1.078 miles with the same amount of money that we're getting 3 miles.
Any of the measures want to add any of that information? Any questions of Bill?
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And thanks to our three magistrates for working on that. Now I'd like to ask our occupational tax director, Brent Hebner, to come up. He wanted to give us an update on how this year's collections are going. He's going to be out of town the second meeting of this month, so I thought it'd be good for him to come up today and just give us an update. Brent, I'll turn it over to you.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
As the judge said, I'm a little bit in front of it, but I wanted to update you for the end of the fiscal year. I believe you have slides in front of you, but we don't have the ability to put them up for the audience.
Yeah, does everybody have this document?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be reading off of here just to give an update for the year relative to historic collections. This isn't against budgeting. This is against historic collections. So a quick snapshot for closing out fiscal year 18-19, when we brought it over to the fiscal court and collections, we collected and brought in a total in dollars of $3,124,395. The first full year in-house, we increased that by 3%, bringing it up to a little over 3.2 million, which showed that it was a very good decision bringing it back in-house. And that's minus the 3% that also was paid to the city as they collected for us. Projecting out, if I use the historical collections for June, which I know we have to be careful about that, but as far back as I could go, I haven't seen a large variation in collections. So if we project out $200,000 in collections, right now we're on pace to collect $3.375 million since bringing it in-house, which is a 5% gain over just last year alone. Now, the big takeaways I wanted you to look at down there was the difference in collection since bringing it in-house for the county. We've increased approximately $250,000. And then at the bottom, I know there was previous discussion early in the year about making the job full-time and how it was viewed. But since the job has been made full-time in just this next year in collections, we've increased $166,000 alone. So I think the court made a very wise decision, and the numbers bear out that the in-house occupational tax and the commitment to a full-time position is showing fruits for the county. On the back page of that, I just want to give a quick perspective on what has made it grow. I would really want the court to understand that this is not me doing in-house. It's a team effort all the way across the board. Since it's come in-house, the increased revenues have also increased workload across the board. Job descriptions have grown. I know people in the community have the word out that the county is collecting its occupational tax independently. So the community is involved. In-house, we're all working it, and it's bearing fruits for the county. I also believe, projecting out, my belief is that the occupational tax should stay very important to the county, because I see nothing but growth. It continues to grow. We have momentum now. I've grown almost 70 accounts this year, and probably half of those are just showing up at my doorstep. Whether it's through CPAs, people in the county, the magistrates, in general, people just now understand that this is part of what the county needs to grow its revenue. So they come to me. Plus the I-69 corridor is bringing quite a bit in-house, and business growth. I'm seeing construction, infrastructure, all of that adds to the revenue generation. So that's just a quick update of where we stood for this year.
One clarification, an awesome job, by the way, but this isn't a reflection of what the county needs.
No.
This is a reflection of what the law says and enforcing the law fairly. And I really appreciate your efforts in making sure that everybody adheres to our county occupational tax laws. So one question, the amounts in the first slide, do they include both occupational tax and net profits? Tax?
They are.
Yeah.
They are. So when I talk about collections, I talk about the occupational tax as a whole, which is the two arms, payroll and net profit. We've actually seen, I didn't want to get too far down into the weeds to bog the court down, but the net profit collections over the last year or 11 months have grown. The county has really grown the net profits, and that's a big chunk of the surplus.
I actually looked that up. In 19, we collected $208,000 in net profits. That grew to 276,000 last fiscal year. In this fiscal year, with a month to go, we're up over $408,000, which is terrific. It's almost doubled in two and a half fiscal years, and we're up $132,366 over last year alone. So I think it does show that bringing it in-house and then making the job full-time is paying for itself and more. And we're able to apply the law fairly. That's the thing to me. Any questions of Brent? And huge compliment to Kurt Weason and Shirley Pruitt and everybody who helps on the backside of this and collections. And I know Brent works it very hard getting out in the community and making sure that everybody's following the law. So, any other questions? Thank you, Brent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kyle Evans, pinch hitting for Steve Gold today. Your reports, please.
Thank you, Judge. I have one check today for the fiscal court. It's an interest check in the amount of $247.43. That brings year-to-date total turned over to the county, $140,222.10.
You only brought us one check.
I pinch hit and I bring in one little check. I'm so sorry.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions of Kyle? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks. Treasurer Ryder, any fund transfers or claims?
There are no fund transfers. I do have some claims from the general fund to CDW in the amount of $2,296.09. This is for EMA computer supplies and is to come from the EMA appropriations line. To Visa in the amount of $968.08. The majority of this being judge office supplies, judge training travel, and fiscal court advertising appropriation lines. To Cytex in the amount of $550.48. This is for judicial center custodial expense and is to come from the judicial center expenses appropriation line. To Deaconess Hospital Incorporated in the amount of $1,500. This is for the coroner's answering service for the period of July 2020 through June of 2021 and is to come from the coroner's telephone appropriation line. The initial discussion of this was presented at the March 23rd, 2021 meeting. Do you want to see if there's questions on those before I go through all the rest of them? or-
Any questions?
I was trying to think back, and the coroner's with us today, but did we check and see if we could get anything that was any cheap or anything on that?
Yeah, everything was higher.
Everything was higher? Okay, thank you.
To continue from the road fund to Bobcat of Evansville in the amount of $535.21. This is for equipment filters and is to come from the recycling equipment repairs and maintenance appropriation line. From the jail fund to Advanced Document Solutions in the amount of $1,136.63. This is for copier charges and is to come from the data processing equipment appropriation line. To US Bank, which is the credit card, in the amount of $2,141.45. This is for miscellaneous expenses, the majority being from building repairs and maintenance, equipment repairs and maintenance, and office supplies appropriation lines.
Make a motion to approve the transfers.
These are claims.
Claims, I'm sorry.
The motion,
Second.
motion and a second. Any other questions of Brenda? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We're now to good of the county. Anybody in the audience want to share anything for good of the county? If not, we'll go around the horn here. Beth, Magistrate Moran, anything for good of the county?
Other than, I know that the mask thing, we've talked about all that, but please go get your vaccination. I know that they've started the lottery and the educational plans and things, and those are wonderful, but please, I encourage you. So many people that I know are cancer survivors and whatever, and they want to get out and they would like to feel comfortable doing that. As far as I know, it's Oswell in the second district.
Thank you, Master Moran. Magistrate Putman.
Thank you, Judge. Ditto on Magistrate Moran's comments there, but all is good in the fourth. Thank you.
Thank you. Master McCollum.
Well, I would encourage people to do the same. We need to get about 75% so we can get the immunity so well that we can stop this virus and let everybody get back out and let us go back to somewhat normalcy. But we really need to do that. And I appreciate you bringing that up. We had Brad and I and Steve Gold and Randy Tassa had a meeting last week and about concerning, I'd asked some questions about the tearing down the property on where we had dilapidated homes and stuff. And we also, people have overgrown property, we mow it and we attach a mechanics lien to it. And Steve pointed out that that's only good for 1 year. And we do not have any kind of a system set up to where we go back and file to foreclose that lien. I think King Deep and Brannaman is doing that because Mr. Thompson was an assistant county attorney And I think that just sort of got rolled over there. I think Steve's going to look at this, Kyle, to see what we can do about setting something up where we can look at it. It is really a lot more complicated than it may sound. Steve pointed out that the circuit court now awards about a $300 to $350 service fee for warning order attorneys on each person. And a lot of these cases are properties where somebody dies in 1930s or 40s, and then they have a bunch of kids. And then one of those children stays in the house, and then they die, and it's not their property. It still belongs to the heirs. And you may have 80, 90 people that you got to serve. So it really becomes expensive to do that. The city has a statute that allows them to do a group foreclosures on these kind of things. And when they do it, they're able to publish it in the paper and get service that way, which it may cost, $1,000, $2,000, but that's a lot cheaper than paying somebody to try to contact each one of these people. So we're going to try to work on that. I just don't want to let it get off our attention so that we can do that. When I was county attorney, I got the Prosecutors Advisory Council to authorize me the use of an unfunded assistant county attorney. And we funded it. We talked to the school system because they're the beneficiary of collecting delinquent taxes and things like that. And most of these properties are not producing tax income. The people, if they don't take care of their property, they're not paying the taxes either. And it is a little time consuming, and they kicked in, I think, about $20,000 to help foreclose on some of these properties just to get them back. I mean, it's good for the community, get the houses back to somebody that can actually use them and build on them. Right now, it's too expensive to do any of that. Renisa and Rennie and their predecessors allowed us to do some of that work at night. They wouldn't give us the combination to the vault, but they would let us lock up at night to do that kind of work. And if we can come up with a system and maybe reward or pay the assistant county attorneys for doing extra work some form or fashion, I think it would be well worth coming up with something that we can do that. I mean, whether it's an unfunded assistant or one of the assistants we have. And if, I'd be happy to help work with any of them that don't know how to run title, because that's what you got to do is run title examinations on the property and then find out who the actual owners are. And but I would like to see if we can continue on this and not let it fall. If you can talk to Steve and let us work to come up with a solution where it'll help your all's office. I know you all have trouble financially with your funding. I know the bad checks are down. I know the other funding is not what it is. And I know the state on child support has cut you back, and they don't, you can't understand dealing with Frankfurt, how bad it is. I mean, Frankfurt's in bad financial shape, but if the county attorney loses a position, somebody retires, quits or whatever, and it takes you a month or two to go without that employee, when you hire the person back, they try to cut you back the money that you didn't spend during that month or two time. You just can't imagine the frustrations that the county attorney has to go through in dealing with that kind of stuff. So if we did something where we're successful and got it sold, where they got a 20% of the sale or something like that to put in and use with their delinquent taxes or something, I personally think it would be beneficial to the county. Anything we can do to get these properties back on the tax rolls and get working, I think is to our benefit. So if we can look at those type alternatives.
Absolutely. I do agree. I'll second the frustration sometimes with funding. I know Steve has talked to Randy and county judge and is working on trying to get a list of properties that might be worth it and suitable. So I know he's working on that right now.
Sometimes you may have to do some that are difficult, but at least it gets, as long as you realize it's going to cost us a little money, but in the over time, it's going to pay itself back. If we can work with the city and let them do as much as they can, and if maybe our third district magistrate, he's got some input with our legislator. We can get, maybe they can get something. Why they didn't pass the law for the counties to do the same thing the cities do is beyond me. But I mean, we just got left out. And I think it would be encouraging if we could get something like that passed to the legislature to allow us to do the service through written notification rather than having to do the warning order attorney on each case or each person.
Yeah,
Thank
Keiko dropped the ball, Charlie, is what happened. It's
Yeah,
cut
yeah.
to the chase. That's,
I didn't want to.
yeah, well, I will.
Okay.
So Charlie, how many delinquent properties do we have in the county?
I don't know offhand, but it used to be, we would write about, anywhere between 1,500 and 2,000 delinquent tax letters a year. And then the second year that would drop down to about 800. So I'm just guessing that that's something we're in that order.
I do remember Kathy saying about 800 or 900 letters went out this year
Yeah,
for
yeah.
those letters.
So
I will say Renice's office does a pretty good job of collecting delinquent taxes. There's always more we could get.
they changed the law, which helped in some regards. What they did is they allowed people to buy the tax bills. And when they bought it, that paid off the taxes, and it paid off the delinquent taxes. The county attorney got their share, the clerk got theirs, and we got our share. But at that time, the interest rate on that money was 12%. There was really high penalties. And the legislature has cut that interest rate back, I think now, and it's not quite as economically feasible for people to do that. And there was like a $300 letter fee that you got. So what was happening is you get these, they would set up a little corporation, you'd have an attorney involved. They would make the $300 by writing a letter, but you got to be careful. If you've got to spend $300, they have to do the same thing we do. In the fact, they've got to foreclose on the property. So now they're a little more picky on the property that they buy the tax bill for, because what they're trying to do is buy a piece of property that somebody else, the mortgage company, is going to foreclose, and they can just ride along the coattails and don't have to pay the attorney's fees and the filing fees and the warning order attorney fees for. That's what they're looking for. So for a while there, the number of delinquencies went way down because people were just buying them in mass, and now they're cherry picking them rather than doing that. I think that's right.
Anything else?
No, everything else in the fifth is good. Thank you. My roads are just perfect.
Astrid Berry.
All right. Thank you, Judge. Thanks, Charlie, for all you're doing on the delinquent tax stuff there. That's really interesting. Thank you, Beth, for your comments on COVID. I agree totally. I think Henderson County is still very low overall vaccinations. Judge, have you heard that? What percentage of people in Henderson have been vaccinated?
31% or something. The
Excuse me?
last time I heard it was 31%.
I think it's
31?
climbed a bit, but not nearly enough.
That's what I was telling Tim. I thought I had seen 31%. That, to me, that's very low. So I wish people would get out and do that. Thanks, Beth, for that. Thanks, Bill, for your help on the blacktop. And I think everything is good in the fifth. Thanks, Judge.
Thank you. Astrid Southern.
I agree with Beth. I'd like to see more people get out and get vaccinated. It's pretty painless. If I can handle it, anybody can handle it. And it's I'd like to thank Bill for the help up with the blacktop too. It was I appreciate his input and his due diligence of allowing to get more miles for less money, because we need the miles, that's for sure. And we're slowly but surely working on these roads, and we'll get there. So all's good in the third.
Thank you, Tim. I will say that the final days of the free clinic at the extension office, the free vaccination clinic, are with us, and encourage people to go get a first vaccine if you haven't already. They are making arrangements, I think, with Walgreens here for you folks to get their second vaccine, because the clinic will be closed before you can get your second vaccine. But that's already been arranged. So you can still get a free vaccine in our community at the extension office. I think it's 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Each day. And please encourage people to take advantage of that if they haven't already. We will be having second reading of our budget. Next fiscal court meeting, we've gotten it back from DLG with approval, but we didn't have enough time to properly advertise it. There's restrictions around how long we have to advertise it. So we will be reading the budget. Next meeting, spring cleanups have gone really well, knock on wood. They've gone smoothly. I appreciate Nancy Watkins Everett and the whole gang out at the road department. I visited each of the sites, each of the Saturdays that they've been held, and all of our teams are saying that people are being very courteous and cooperative, and we haven't experienced any dumping issues, which is good. And I can't help but think that these spring cleanups help us avoid illegal dumps out in the county. So the final ones are this Friday, Saturday, and they'll be at the Basket Volunteer Fire Department, the Spotsville Boat Ramp, and a vacant lot in between KG's General Store and the railroad tracks in Beals. And those go till 4 o'clock each day. And I encourage people, and you don't have to live in those communities to take advantage of those dump sites, collection sites. But please, Henderson County residents only, and no tires, household garbage, hazardous waste, things like that. So, later this month, I think the 16th and 17th, we'll have eligibility for people to bring in waste tires to the road department. And there'll be more information about that coming out in media and it hadn't already. That is all I've got. And unless anybody else has anything to add, I can entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor can leave.
See y'all.